Hi, I'm Sam Castle, Chief Revenue Officer here at Radius, and I'm delighted today to be joined by Stacy Torres from Hearthstone Homes, operating primarily out of Temecula, California. Welcome,
Right.
Stacy.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for recently joining the brokerage. I've heard so much about your team through the recruiters, and we're delighted to have you here today. But to have Hearthstone Homes as as one of the many brands that Radius partners with. Let's just jump right into it. And I do want to make a quick call out. Your husband, Michael Torres, was unavailable because he's out solving real world client problems and closing deals, which we all love. But I definitely wanted to give a shout out to Michael. But what got you into real estate initially?
Because Michael's a liar. I'm just kidding. He actually was on the corporate side for 15 years, training realtors. I was a stay-at-home mom. We had a photo booth business we would run, so we were used to the networking. I would do a lot of the networking. He would run the jobs on the weekend, so I could stay in with the kids for 12 years. And I was like, okay, it's time for me to go back to work. And he's like, you really should do real estate. If you're just consistent, I know you would be. I promise you, let's make the big vision and goal that we get you up and running. When you're ready to go, he quit the corporate side and joined me full time. So that was our vision. So I started for the first year with an office out of Temecula, actually, that he was trained at, and I would do anything. I'd be like, I will bring you coffee. I don't want a dime. Just show me what to do. Yep. So the idea was like throw the RPA all over the desk and say, put it back together, or bring me a potential client, things for the first getting licensed. Yeah. And then my husband had changed to Century 21 Award and all of the offices over there training agents. And I quickly realized within 6 months, agents were starting to come to my office and say, what are you doing? And I'm like, okay. So that's where I really the journey just began. I really want to do this, but I remember going to one of the coaching calls and they're like, so what are you going to do this week? I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. You tell me what to do. I don't know anything about real estate. Yeah. And that's when I really realized I eventually wanted to help lead a team of other people. I don't want anybody to get left behind. There's enough business to go around, right. But we need to sit here and as we climb up, reach our arm down and pull others up and just really start at the ground level and not let people fall behind. Because I think there's so many great agents out there that have the drive and the will, but they don't know what to do.
That's absolutely.
And so that was really what got me into it.
Well, I mean, it's just amazing how quickly after joining the industry overall on your own as a new agent, you got that calling to step up and be a leader. I mean, that's really impressive. That was really within the first year. How long?
Well, it took me 2 or 3 years. I kind of jumped around from teams, realizing I thought everybody had the magic sauce, even though my husband would be like, no, stop, just follow your plan, right? But he would put me in front of, because a lot of times brokerages want to, not every brokerage, but a lot of them want to support the big producers. Right. So he would go and sit with all these big producers. And I was lucky enough, they'd be like, oh yeah, your wife could come spend a day with us. And I thought, do they all have this secret sauce? And what I quickly realized is when they say, shh, come in, shut the door, don't tell my secrets, there is no secret. Yeah. Do your work, figure out what your pillars are and stick to it. Instead of that mentality of a butterfly, oh, somebody's doing open houses and they're getting it. Oh, somebody's sending letters and they're doing it. It's just figure out what it is, what's working, and then just do it day in and day out, because nobody's going to tell you to get up and work. And so
I love that idea, and I think that is sage advice for so many people, is that there is no secret sauce, and the fact that they have to bring you behind a closed door to say, oh, by the way, the emperor really isn't wearing any clothes is brilliant. And then and the advice that you're giving, I think right off the bat is spot on for being successful really anywhere, which is take care of the blocking and tackling, get out there, hold yourself accountable, find your own way. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah. And I think that's when I realized I want to join I want a team of agents, but more that are partners. I look at every agent as you're not just on our team. We're in business together. We're partners, because I'm going to do better. if I know people are watching me, if somebody's counting on me to bring the best tools or training or support to them, and if I'm going to sit here and try to just help hold them accountable, then I have to be accountable to myself first. And so that's why I think was my vision was to be a team lead. It's not for the accolades or for anything. It's more for, like, I will hold myself to a higher standard if I know somebody is counting on me. Yep. And I can also try to help hold them to a standard and say, hey, I've been there and done that. And it didn't work, or it did work, or just keep going, or, hey, let's take a look at this plan. And can we tweak anything in there? And that's where it was laid on my heart to help build a team so I can serve others.
Right. And I imagine that approach that you have of service first has really worked out, not just on building your team, but really on all the relationships you have, through your clients as well. That, right. I mean, how critical is that maybe that is the secret sauce.
I think that is it. I mean, my husband's literally picking up granite right now for a client. I mean, we try to just do all that we can do to put our best foot forward, and our business is built on relationships and past clients and experience. But more than anything, like when you said, how did we get here? So after about 3 years of kind of dabbling, and, the first year doing, I think it was like 14 transactions. And then just kind of like, I didn't do anything for the first 6 months. I couldn't figure it out. I felt like I was being pulled all over with ideas. And then the last 6 months I had done 14 deals, and then it just continued to grow, like, oh, you just serve well, just do the things, stay focused. And then, we started realizing we were off kilter in our family life. He was driving to San Diego every day on the corporate side, and my business was growing, and now the kids were just home all the time by themselves. So then we looked at it like something has to give here. And that's when he decided to quit his day job and join me full time. And then COVID hit 2 months later. And so he got through, our worlds got rocked. And there was times I had 16 in escrow all by myself. Wow. And he would have to stay home with the kids. And then when they went back to school, we were able to really relook at we run our business completely separate. He works on all of the marketing, new opportunities, any lead generation of people we don't know. I work on agent relationships and past clients. And then we divide and conquer how we train the team. So I am horrible at technology, so he trains in technology. I'm good at agent relationships, so I train on agent relationships. And so we just try to really serve our strong suits and know where our weaknesses lie. And luckily we're like yin and yang, so he's able to pick up where is maybe not my strong suit, and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing in the industry over the past 5 years this huge shift to working on teams, and I think the data says that about 3 or 4 years ago, about 40% of agents were working on teams. NAR estimates that 90% of agents in the next 2 years will be working on teams, and based on some of the things that you've already said around, the ability to hold each other accountable, to drive to a higher standard, and then specifically with like you and your husband, this conquer and divide, the specialization of labor, really amplifies, both of your abilities. The sum is greater than the whole when you work that way. Yeah. What are some other benefits for agents that are maybe just getting in or have been moderately successful on their own? What are some other benefits for an agent joining a team?
I think it all comes down to the mastermind. So when I had joined Compass, that was my first thing. There was no Compass out here. But my husband was corporate, so I followed him over there. And I think my very first thing was I created a mastermind with every office in Southern California. So we would travel. There was 4 of us that got together. And I think that's the same thing about a team. Instead of having to drive hours or figuring out who to meet up with, who to meet up with, and run ideas by and say, okay, well, you were successful. Well, what worked for you? What didn't? Hey, maybe you should tweak this. And it's not that I have all the answers. Right. It's that as a team collectively, we can be better together. So we each have something to bring, and our team runs I mean, they're phenomenal. I get a call the other day and it's like, hey, we need to do a golf tournament. I just signed us all up for Friday and I'm going to do all the branding and all this. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, I can get lemon perfect water. We have a 3D printer back there. I can print the golf things. We can, we all band together. So our team looks at Hearthstone as their brand. Like, we are partners. It's not just the Mike and Stacy show. And I think that's what's very important to us. It's how can we elevate the group? And so everybody's invested in it.
I love that. And that is that is the goal of Radius. That's what we're here for. And that's why we keep evolving different products and technologies and services, because, just like you view yourself as a partner with these agents. And honestly, those agents are partnering with clients to buy and sell their homes. Radius, we really view ourselves as your partner. We try to fight against that normal view of what a broker is, this kind of overlord that's always trying to take more of your money and promising secret sauce that never comes through. But, how can we work with you to make you more successful as a team lead, as an individual agent, what have you? So you created Hearthstone. I love the origin story. Absolutely love the origin story. You created Hearthstone. You've grown it to about 8 agents or so. Is that right?
Yes.
And what then made you switch over to Radius from where you were before?
Well, there were some broker changes, changes that came very quickly, and I didn't feel were benefiting our team as individuals, because now it's not just about Mike and I. We may have stuck around for a while, but I had to, again, I go back to we're partners, and I didn't think it was in the best interest of the partners. And for my personality, it was, I would have sat there and thought about it and stewed on it. And that is not a solution in a market like this. We can never take the pedal off the metal as far as it going for prospecting. So I knew I needed to make a change quickly. And somebody came to me and said, hey, have you heard of Radius? You can stay Hearthstone. Nobody has to know. And honestly, it's been the best move we've made. I've seen it even from your leadership, Bijou sitting on the calls with me saying, hey, okay, here's how our app runs. And then going, hey, well, from an agent perspective, have you thought about running, doing this? This might be helpful. And all of a sudden, I'm already seeing those changes come to fruition on the back end. And so, even my TC's like, oh, I think maybe if they do that, but I don't want, just little ideas we were talking about with the demand. And I'm like, they're open to it. Like, that's the thing about it. It's not, it really is, I feel, aligned with my values and being a partnership, and the fact that he's able to jump in and say, oh, well, let me help you. Like, I get the tech side, right? But from an agent perspective, how is this going to make it smoother? And then Christy and Julia and Jessica, it was 8:00 at night, and I'm like, well, this portion isn't working. How do I do DocuSign? She's like, oh, just jump into mine. They have been phenomenal. So we know, right, it's new and there may be some growing pains just like any business, but they jumped in and just really had our back and just helped us. I mean, I can call D anytime with like the tough one I have right now. And he's like, so what's your ask? And I'm like, well, I don't know. And he's like, do you want me to call the agent? I'm like, well, yeah, he's a broker and he won't answer my call. So maybe he'll answer yours. And so just everybody's really been awesome and just stepped right in and helped us through this transition.
That's so great to hear. And that goes right back to, we truly just want to be great partners for you. Yeah. And whatever we can do to facilitate your business, that is entirely what we're here for. You mentioned technology a little bit, and I know Michael might be the technology, guru of the duo, but what have you found most useful as far as the Radius technology goes?
Well, to be honest, it's very new for us still. So we're still learning everything, getting everything integrated over. But even things like when we came over, Mike was like, hey, he's doing a lot of like running Google ads and, trying different tools. And he's like, hey, I want Chime. And Julie was like, hold on, let me negotiate a deal for it. And so we were able to get Chime. And I know that's not necessarily with the technology, but even the app. Right. Taking a listing made it very smooth and easy. But I was like, what if we put, are you able to have some of this stuff autofill? And I noticed it's now from the first listing I took to the second, it's already doing it.
Brilliant.
So the technology is moving fast. to accommodate the needs of the agent. And so I think I can see the big picture that I think this is just going to get better in the future.
Right on. And then you talked a little bit about the transition, but I was wondering, like, how easy or difficult was it for you to move from your previous brokerage over to Radius? Bring the whole team.
Because we did it very quickly. We've had some challenges, but to be honest, it was from the broker releasing us, not from Radius receiving us. And Radius has been awesome and is stepping in and communicating now with our previous brokerage to get like things like, we want to keep our email the same, right. Hearthstone Homes RE, things like that. Just they've helped make that as smooth as possible. And there have been some hiccups and some challenges, but not on Radius's side. And what's awesome is because we were already Hearthstone Homes, all of our branding has stayed consistent. And that was my biggest thing, is I didn't want somebody seeing me jump and jump and jump brokerages to the public. I just want to keep it the same and keep moving along. And especially in a market like this. And they've made it just so simple and easy.
Yeah, it seems like you put some serious work into building a really good brand for your area. What what advice or insight would you give for aspiring team leaders who are thinking about making that jump and creating their own business, creating their own brand?
I would say definitely create your own brand, because I look at the big picture. The one team that I was on, I learned so much from that individual in a year's time, as far as, but when it was time to move on, because it's a little different when your husband's on the corporate side, right? Then that brokerage wants you to move over there so that it stays cohesive to their message. But again, it's always their message and not about your brand. It's about that broker shining rather than the team. Like our hard work shining through. And so what I looked at is when I had left that team, her big thing was like, man, but I've dumped so much into you and look at where you're growing. And I totally get that and appreciate that. However, you don't have a solution for me. What happens when I want to grow a team? Then I'm going to be so-and-so under Stacy Torres, under so-and-so. Like this gives it a solution. My job is to help people, fly. Then I've done my job, not to help them to fly and then suppress them. So if I can get them to that position, then they can be the so-and-so team under Hearthstone Homes.
That's right.
And it gives them a solution to be able to be the best that they can be and help them. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. And help them.
I think too meeting people where they want to be met, and not everybody wants to be a team lead, but for those people that's their vision and they want to grow to have their own brand or their own team, I want to be able to serve them all the way through. And I think that will help with retention of team members. And that's where Radius to me was super appealing, was I could keep my brand. Yeah,
I love that. And you've done such a good, of a good job building it, growing it to this level of success. What's next for Hearthstone Homes?
Well, definitely we have our meeting coming up on expansion. We just wanted to make sure we completely understood it. We had all of our systems running before we brought another agent into the fold. Okay. So growing a few more team members. We do have a team member in Orange County that came organically. I was not looking for a team member, but I was kind of coaching her through situations as she was new. So she said, can I join you? And so we're looking for an agent or two in her area, just so that they can do fun things together, like door knock or, just
right.
It would be nice to have a partner out there for her. And then a few more agents here, and then we'll see. We're just continuing building the brand. It's fun. Mike walked into the post office the other day and he had his Hearthstone hat on. I mean, we wear Hearthstone logos everywhere we go. It's cups or sweaters or shirts, whatever. We're always branded. And somebody was like, Hearthstone. So it's fun to see that. I mean, because it is new. It's only been just over 2 years that we've been Hearthstone. And so just trying to continue building the brand and figuring out more, adding a few more pillars to our marketing efforts.
That public random recognition is such a wonderful milestone for your brand, isn't it? You're those people. That is so cool. You provided, such a wealth of insight and great advice. I think during this very short call, even, for agents and team leads, you're a natural, empathetic, service-oriented entrepreneur and leader, and it just totally jazzes me up, your energy. So it's great to make the connection. But what would be some additional secrets to your success when you look back? We talked about that there is no secret sauce, but hey, if you had to mix something up in the kitchen, what would be your secret sauce?
Just as it seems like it's so dark, and am I cut out for this? Because I think every agent does. The light is just past that. Just as you think like, man. And then I think the biggest thing, and it was my very first broker that actually told me this, is the only thing consistent in real estate is change.
Yes.
So you have to learn to adapt quickly, which is not good for my personality. Who wants to control and know, like, okay, everything's going to be okay. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, we just saw the shift, right? Those ebb and flows come, and we just saw this shift, and it was like, nope, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. And like, we're already picking back up. So it's just continue doing and try not to self-doubt. And confidence for me, when I came in, I had come from being a stay-at-home mom when I started in real estate, and going, can I do this? Am I as good as the person in the room? And then realizing we're all just different. We all have different strong suits, and just keep working at it. And the more knowledge you have, the more stories you have. I think sales goes very far through storytelling. So the more you do, the more stories you have, the more relatable you become, and the more comfortable you feel speaking. So, and that leads to confidence.
Yeah. So you start off in darkness. You're afraid it will never end. You're saying push on through. The light is on the other side.
Don't stop.
Once you feel that sunshine, all of a sudden, then you're going to have multiple experiences over time that's going to build your confidence even more. So just persevere, keep going, and believe in yourself, right?
Right, because you could be doing that one open house.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get anything from it, maybe. And then the next one, maybe you get 2 clients from it. So it really comes back to the basics. And don't try to always recreate the wheel. Get the basics down first. Get your scripts down. Know what you're talking about. Just continue educating yourself. And then you can start trying to add in more creative things to your wheelhouse.
Right. I'm definitely going to be looking for you leading some mastermind rooms coming up. I think it's your destiny. I would
love it. And Mike would love anything technology. That's him. Lead generation, technology follow-up.
But no, thank you for your time today. I really enjoyed the interaction. It was great getting to know you more, Stacy. And I wish you and Hearthstone and Mike all the luck. And of course, Andrew's line is open. My line is open. Anything we can do for you anytime.